Chapter 21. The Medical Fee. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Chapter 21. The Medical Fee Miracle. I managed to break through. Nayland Jia's old face, which was sedate as an ancient well, suddenly changed dramatically with huge excitement. Originally, he thought that he could only stop his present cultivation in this life. Unexpectedly, under the guidance of Qin Haodong, he easily broke the bottleneck of the past and reached a realm of hidden force. From now on, you are the great benefactor of our Nayland family, little magic doctor. Nayland Jia stood up and bowed deeply to Qin Haodong. It's nothing, a mere trifle. Qin Haodong said casually. He accepted Nayland Jia's salute without hesitation. Such an almost impossible thing in the eyes of others was insignificant to him. Grandpa, didn't you pay too much respect to him? Nayland Wushuang was very surprised at Grandpa's performance. Normally with his status, nobody in Jiangnan region or in the whole country could afford to accept such salute from him. At the same time, she stared at Qin Haodong with eyes full of blame. How could he let the old man bow to him? Nayland Jia turned back and said, "What do you know? The magic doctor's favor to our Nayland family totally deserves my bow. You come over and pay respect to the little magic doctor." Nayland Wushuang became dulled, regretting having talked too much. Now she herself had to bow to this fellow. She was in a dilemma. On the one hand, she was grateful for Qin Haodong's rescue of Nayland Jia. On the other hand, she was annoyed that she had been teased by him repeatedly, which made her rather unwilling to salute him. Nevertheless, she dared not ignore Nayland Jia's words and had to bow to Qin Haodong. Today, she wore a white T-dot shirt with a round collar. When she stooped down, the spring landscape burst out from her collar, which caused a throb in Qin Haodong's heart. He thought that the girl was really hot. Nayland Jia took the car keys left by Nayland Wufeng and sent them to Qin Haodong. "Little magic doctor, you have helped our Nayland family so much, please accept this car." Nayland Wushuang could not help exclaiming, "Grandpa, this car can't be given away. It's left to my little sister by cousin." With face sunken, Nayland Jia said, "It's just a car. There isn't anything I can't give away, I'm in charge." Then he took out a purple gold card from his pocket and sent it to Qin Haodong. "Little magic doctor, please accept this card as well." Nayland Wushuang was shocked. "Grandpa, this is your exclusive gold card. How can you give it away?" Now she even suspected that Grandpa's brain was injured during the treatment. Otherwise, why would he give away such heavy gifts one after another? Nayland Jia said, "What's the use of this for me? Who doesn't know me in Nayland family? Do I need to use this card?" This exclusive gold card was specially made by Nayland family for Nayland Jia as a symbol of identity. The one who owned the card could enjoy for free all the products of Nayland's business empire, and had all the priority and cash withdrawal rights. The card could be used to withdraw $100 million from Nayland family's property at any time. Because of the particularity of this card, Nayland Wushuang was astounded when Nayland Jia gave it away. Qin Haodong neither knew nor cared about the value of these two things which he put into his pocket casually. He just knew the set of cultivation method he has just revised was absolutely priceless. Nayland Wushuang had no idea that Qin Haodong could accept Nayland Jia's gift so unblushingly. Just when she wanted to say something, she suddenly turned pale and looked painful. She squatted on the ground with her hands tightly clasped over her lower abdomen. "Are you all right, girl?" Then it occurred to Nayland Jia that he had been cured, but Nayland Wushuang's illness caused by the cold of cultivation skill of Nayland family had not yet been cured. "Little magic doctor, Wushuang is having one of her turns. Please help the girl with her illness." Qin Haodong looked at the painful Nayland Wushuang and said, "Give me your hand." Nayland Wushuang was too painful to scruple at this time. She immediately put out his right hand as ordered. Qin Haodong took hold of her boneless little hand and conveyed greenwood genuine qi to Nayland Wushuang. Soon, the pain on her face faded a lot. Open your mouth. Qin Haodong sent a marrow, cleansing pill to Nalan Wushuang's lips. Nalan Wushuang had just seen Nalan Jie take this small pill. Knowing that it was good medicine, she opened her mouth and swallowed it directly. But when her red lips touched Qin Haodong's hand, she realized that the swallowing action was ambiguous, so she quickly lowered her head shyly. Because of the shorter time of cultivation, Nalan Wushuang's illness was much lighter than Nalan Jie's, so the treatment was relatively easy. 5 minutes later, the cold in her body had been removed. Qin Haodong said, "Done, just remember to use the revised cultivation skill in the future." "Then why don't you let go my hand?" Nalan Wushuang looked at Qin Haodong angrily. The treatment was clearly over, but this guy still held her hand. "Oh. I'm consolidating the treatment," Qin Haodong said righteously. "You." This guy was really thick-skinned, feeling so justified in taking advantage of her. She was just about to argue with Qin Haodong when suddenly she felt the heat in her lower abdomen quickly flowed down. Originally her body was eroded by the cold, so the menstrual blood volume was very small. Now with the cold dissipated, menstruation immediately became very active. She was unable to bear the huge flow of blood for an instant, and she even felt that her tight jeans were soaked. What a plight it was when there was an adult man in front of her. She had never felt so embarrassed that her cheeks were red as if drifting blood. She turned around and ran to the bathroom. Seeing Nalan Wushuang's peculiar way of running, Qin Haodong smiled with amusement. The girl was always looking for trouble with herself, and it was proper for her to suffer a little. Now that he had finished his work, there was no need to stay any longer. He rose to take his leave of Nalan Jie. 5 minutes later, a black Lamborghini sports car appeared on the highway in Jiangnan City, and it attracted countless envious eyes as it sped along. As Qin Haodong was driving quickly to the military sanatorium in the downtown area of Jiangnan City, Nalan Wushuang sat back in front of Nalan Jie. "Grandpa, isn't the reward you gave him too valuable? That Lamborghini Centenario is a luxury car worth more than 40 million yuan, and it's a birthday gift bought by cousin for the little sister. I'm afraid they'll be unhappy if they know about it. They dare. The little magic doctor has helped our family so much." "What's a car?" Nalan Jie said with staring eyes. "There are still some days before Wuxia's birthday. Just let your cousin prepare a new gift. Anyway, he can still buy another one." Nalan Wushuang grinned to herself, thinking that it was not as simple as he thought. This limited edition car was not cabbage which could be bought with money casually. The most important thing was that she had sent Nalan Wuxia the photos of the car when she had nothing to do, telling her about her birthday gift. Now this car was given to Qin Haodong by Nalan Jie. Nanlan Wuxia would certainly get mad with the personality she had. She dared not do anything to Nalan Jie, but Qin Haodong would be in trouble. Nevertheless, she could only hold these words in her stomach, otherwise, she would surely be reprimanded. "Grandpa, although he cured your illness, even a TCM national champion worth only 1 or 2 million yuan. Last time the imperial doctor from the capital came to see you, you only gave him 100,000 yuan. Qin Haodong is only a small doctor, does he deserve such a heavy reward?" This car could make sense. After all, there was a price of it, but that exclusive gold card could not be measured by money at all. Nalan Jie said, "You are still too short-sighted to see how much the little magic doctor has brought to our Nalan family. The value of his revised set of cultivation skills alone is far more than that of the exclusive gold card. Just fixing a few flaws. Should it be so exaggerated?" Nalan Wushuang said in surprise. With excitement flashed in eyes, Nalan Jie said, "It's not as simple as you said. We Nalan family's cultivation skill has not only been modified by the little magic doctor, but also has been upgraded by at least 2 grades. Do you know how important an inner cultivation skill is to a family? It's absolutely priceless. Otherwise, the cultivation skill of our Nalan family wouldn't be handed down for so many years despite its defects. If we publish this skill, there are absolutely countless families willing to pay a high price to buy it, which is not a car or a card can compare. Nalan Wushuang opened her mouth in surprise. She had never thought that the cultivation skill had doubled its value after Qin Haodong's random instructions. So it's we Nalan family that had taken advantage of that guy. Of course, little magic doctor cured you and me. Only the 2 pills he gave us are worth thousands of dollars. Coupled with this set of priceless cultivation skill, our Nalan family has benefited a lot. We can't be too grateful for what he did for us. Nalan Wushuang nodded slightly and asked, Grandpa, there is one thing I still don't understand. It's clear that he didn't learn our Nalan family's mental cultivation methods. How could he find out the defects? Nalan Jie said, this is the genius of the little magic doctor. We Nalan family had been working hard on this skill for hundreds of years, and we couldn't find any clue to make up for it. But little magic doctor saw through everything just after seeing me cultivating for a circle and created a complete version in a twinkling of an eye. Such ability is horrible, terrifying. If I'm not mistaken, he must have a very high level of cultivation, or he has a very great teacher. Such a figure we Nalan family must try our best to make good with but not to neglect. If we offend him, there must be a disaster of extinction. Oh. Nalan Wushuang responded softly. Unexpectedly, Qin Haodong had such a heavy weight in Grandpa's mind. No wonder he gave away big gifts one after another. Nalan Jie took a deep look at Nalan Wushuang and said, Girl, I think you and the little magic doctor are well matched. If he can accept you, it's absolutely the greatest chance for we Nalan family. We must grasp it. Chapter 22. The Old Blackmailer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 22. The Old Blackmailer. Grandpa, what are you talking about? Nalan blushed and whispered, He said he had a daughter. It was also a thorn in her heart. Qin Haodong had a handsome face that could make many girls scream. In addition, his good medical skills and humorous and interesting personality really inspired Nalan Wushuang's thoughts of love which had been silent for many years. But the thought that Qin Haodong had a daughter made her withdraw. Anyway, she was an honorable madam of Nalan family, the goddess in countless men's hearts, with her own pride. How could she be with a man with a child? Nalan Jie said indifferently, a man can't live without a few wives and concubines. A good man is naturally loved by many women, and it's normal for a man to have more than one woman. Beggars on the roadside are singled and childless, but who would take a fancy to them? I have come across countless people over the years. The little magic doctor is absolutely a rare elite among dragons and phoenixes. Such a man will slip away if you don't take the chance. Nalan Wushuang couldn't speak for a while. Grandpa's words were beyond her expectation. Just a few days ago, a son of an imperial family went to Nalan family to propose marriage and was refused by Nalan Jie without the slightest hesitation. It was unexpected that he valued Qin Haodong so much today. How should Nalan Wushuang face it? Qin Haodong was driving Lamborghini Centenario at a rapid speed, and really felt the joy of driving, but when he arrived in the city, he had to slow down the speed of the car. Shortly after entering the city, an old man with a filthy look suddenly flashed out from the roadside and appeared in front of the Lamborghini. He immediately slammed on the brake, and it turned out that Lamborghini Centenario's reputation was not boastful. The brake performance was so good that it stopped 3 or 4 meters away from the old man. By this time, the old man had fallen down in the middle of the road and was somewhat dismayed when he saw the car parked in the distance. It seemed that he had misjudged Lamborghini's braking performance and the distance was not accurate. But the old man had his own way. Supported by the elbow, he crawled forward with the boldness of bombing a blockhouse, throwing himself in front of Lamborghini's wheel. Help! Look here! The luxury car just hit an innocent old man. The old man shouted, his face showed a painful expression instantly. He rolled constantly on the ground with his hands clenching his chest and his thighs. Chin Haodong did not expect that he could meet with blackmail when he had just got a new car. He got out of the car and came to the old man. He crouched down and laughed at the old man and said, "Sir, why don't you be an actor with such acting skill? You absolutely can win an Oscar award. Why do you have to do this job? If one day you come across a drunken madman, maybe he will send you to heaven. Cut the crap, you hit me, you have to make compensation." The old man cried. "Sir, you've got the wrong person today. I'm poorer than you." Chin Haodong was really telling the truth. Although he was driving a luxury car worth 40 million yuan, he has only one coin in his pocket and no more. No way. Don't bully me because I'm an illiterate old man. I know your car. The old man picked up the latest iPhone from his pocket and quickly searched out Lamborghini Centenario. He pointed to the page and said, "You see, it's clear that your car is worth tens of millions of dollars. How could you be a poor man? Let's make it clear, you give me at least 10,000 yuan today, not a penny less." Chin Haodong looked at the old man's mobile phone and said, "Grandpa, you have a strong business ability. You really have kept pace with the times. But I really don't have 10,000 yuan. There's an 1 yuan coin. Do you want it?" He fished out the coin in his pocket and sent it to the old man. "Bah! Are you dealing with beggars? Now beggars don't charge $1. The old man was furious. He shouted to Chin Haodong. "How bad are you rich people? You only want to give me 1 yuan after hitting me. You have to give me at least 10,000 yuan, otherwise, you don't want to drive away. What about that? Shall I give you this car?" Chin Haodong said with teasing face. "I don't want a car. What's the use of that thing? I want money. Give it to me quickly." The old man came forward and clasped Chin Haodong's thigh and cried. Chin Haodong took his dilapidated mobile phone from his pocket and presented it to the old man and said, "Look, sir, I'm really poor. My mobile phone is not as good as yours. Don't pour that mouth to me. I've seen so many people like you. Don't try to fool an old man like me." It seemed that the old man was going to pester him. He looked around at the onlookers and then whispered in the old man's ear, "Sir, to tell you the truth, this car is not mine at all. The original owner had been killed by me. This car was robbed by me. Look at my cell phone, my clothes, do I look like a rich man?" The old man's body shook slightly at his words. He had been doing this business for several years, and still got some knowledge on how the rich dressed up. The clothes of this young man looked really cheap, cheaper than his own. He was really unlike those who could afford to drive a luxury car. Thinking of that, he had already believed most of Chin Haodong's words. A trace of fear slowly came into his eyes. "I tell you, now the police are chasing me behind, there's no time to waste with you. Now I'll get in the car. If you keep lying here, there'll be some consequences." After finishing his words, Chin Haodong took his right leg out of the old man's arms and turned to get in the car. At this time, the old man had fully believed Chin Haodong's words and thought that he was a murderer. He jumped up from the ground and flashed to the roadside. Chin Haodong started his car with a triumphant smile at the corner of his mouth. Although the old man seemed to be in his 60s, still he was nothing compared with his 500-year experience. "Too young to play with me," he thought. Seeing the old man have given way, he was about to drive forward when he saw a police car roaring in front of his car. Chin Haodong could only stop the car again and get off it when the police had blocked the road. 2 policemen, a man and a woman, came down from the police car. A tall policewoman in her 20s was the head. Chin Haodong's eyes were attracted by the policewoman whose figure was too good. Although wearing tight uniforms, she still gave out a sense of seeing the sea, hot. Before the 2 policemen could speak, the filthy old man ran over and cried, "Police, police, I want to report the murderer. Is there any reward for reporting?" With a stern look, the policewoman asked the old man, "What did you say? Who is the murderer? It's him. This car was robbed by him. The original owner was killed by him. Hearing the filthy old man's words, the crowd was shocked and immediately moved away from Chin Haodong, exposing him and Lamborghini to the eyes of the policewoman. Chin Haodong was dumbfounded. He just wanted to frighten the old blackmailer and make him go. He didn't expect to make such a big farce. Police, it's not like that. He wanted to explain to the policewoman, but before he could explain, the policewoman took a look at the Lamborghini Centenario and suddenly changed her face. She took a pistol from her waist and pointed it at him and shouted. "Don't move, raise your hand." My God! Chin Haodong had a bitter smile on his face. He didn't expect things to turn out like this. However, in the face of the policewoman's gun, he could only raise his hands very cooperatively. "Police, let me tell you, this old man is going to blackmail me. I just want to frighten him. There is no robbery at all. This car is mine." Chin Haodong tried to explain, but the policewoman did not listen at all and took out the handcuffs from her waist and handcuffed his hands behind his back. Then the policewoman handed Chin Haodong over to the policeman who took him into the police car. With the policewoman driving the Lamborghini Centenario, they went back to the criminal police brigade. Sitting in the interrogation room, Chin Haodong was depressed. He looked at the policewoman opposite and said, "Police, this is a misunderstanding. You should catch the old man, he tried to blackmail me. I am a decent man." The policewoman looked at him with cold eyes and said, "Did I allow you to talk?" Chin Haodong was helpless, he could only keep silent with indignation. "Say, where did you get this car?" The policewoman asked again. "This car is really mine." "Yours?" The policewoman sneered. "So tell me, where did you buy this car? How much is it? Where is the invoice?" Chin Haodong paused for a moment and said, "I am a doctor, and this car is the fee paid by the patient. Although I didn't buy it, it is really my legal property. The old man just now wanted to blackmail me, so I made a joke to frighten him. There was no such thing as murdering and robbing a car. The fee. Do you think I'm a fool? Do you know the value of this car? A total of 40 million yuan. Will someone give you a car of 40 million yuan to pay for your treatment? Why not give you an aircraft carrier?" Apparently, the policewoman didn't believe half a word Chin Haodong had said. "That's easy. I can give you that person's phone number. You can check with her." Chin Haodong said, spelling out Naylan Wushuang's telephone number. "Are you sure this person gave you the car?" The policewoman stared at Chin Haodong and asked. "You can know it simply by asking." Chin Haodong was full of confidence. He felt that Naylan Wushuang would surely testify for him as long as he called. The policewoman looked at him with strange eyes, then took out her cell phone and dialed the number. But the phone rang for a while and nobody answered. The policewoman called again, but still, no one answered. Naylan Wushuang was in the bathroom cleaning the dirt discharged from the effect of the marrow cleansing pill, and did not hear the telephone outside. The policewoman put down her cell phone, grabbed Chin Haodong's collar and shouted. "Say, what have you done with my cousin? Naylan Wushuang is your cousin." Chin Haodong then realized that no wonder the policewoman immediately took him to the criminal police brigade without any inquiry after seeing the Lamborghini Centenario. She was Naylan Wushuang's cousin to whom Naylan Wufeng wanted to deliver the car. Chapter 23. Misfortune caused by lies. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 23. Misfortune caused by lies. Naylan was on duty today. She just received the photos from her cousin saying that Naylan Wufeng was going to give her a Lamborghini Centenario as a birthday gift. However, just after a while, she saw the car and the photos appeared on the road. The Lamborghini Centenario was a limited series of only 40 cars worldwide. It was absolutely impossible for Jiangnan to have another one. So she did not hesitate to bring Chin Haodong to criminal police unit. In her opinion, Qin Haodong's car was either stolen or robbed, by no means it could be obtained by legal means. At the moment, she was a little panicked that Nalan Wushuang did not answer her phone, thinking that it was Qin Haodong who killed Nalan Wushuang and got the car from her. Qin Haodong realized that the misunderstanding was getting worse and worse. He tried to explain. To tell you the truth, I just cured your grandfather's lung disease. He gave me this car as a medical fee. Your cousin may be busy now. Would you like to give your grandpa Nalan Jia a call? It seems you don't want to tell the truth. Nalan Wuxia became angrier and angrier. She'd rather die than believe that the young man had cured grandpa's illness. All these years, Nalan Jia had been seeking medical treatment everywhere in vain. How could he be cured by this young man in an instant? It's true. I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner. I just cured your grandfather. Qin Haodong tried his utmost to explain. You dared to claim that you are a Chinese medicine practitioner when you haven't grown a beard yet. You are not good at telling lies. Nalan Wuxia no longer wanted to waste time with Qin Haodong when Nanlan Wushuang was at risk. She turned her head and waved to the policeman behind her. You go out first and turn off the electronic monitor. Yes, Captain Nalan. The policeman answered and glanced at Qin Haodong with pity in his eyes before going out. Nalan Wuxia was the vice-captain of the criminal police brigade. She was famous for her ability to fight in the whole criminal police unit. Everyone called her Tyrannosaurus Beauty behind her back. Because of this, the policeman felt that Qin Haodong was doomed. Moreover, the crime had been committed at the home of Tyrannosaurus Beauty. How miserable would it be? The policeman closed the door of the interrogation room, and soon the red light of the monitor in the corner was extinguished. Apparently, the monitor had been shut down. Qin Haodong sighed. Today's issue was really troublesome. He just wanted to frighten the old man, but instead, he caused so much trouble. It was all caused by lying. Nalan Wuxia grabbed a black baton on the wall as she stared at Qin Haodong coldly. With sharp voice she said, "Say. What did you do to my cousin?" "Officer, I've told you several times that I haven't done anything to her. Nalan Wushuang is safe and sound. It seems that you won't tell the truth unless you suffer a little." Nalan Wuxia raised the baton in her hand and thumped it toward Qin Haodong's shoulder. But the baton was caught in mid-air by a big hand and could not move for a bit. She looked at Qin Haodong in surprise, and saw that the handcuff had fallen to the ground. Qin Haodong's hands had relieved intact, and his right hand was holding her baton. Nalan Wuxia was an experienced policewoman. After a short period of astonishment, she came to realize that the young man in front of him was not easy. She retreated rapidly, dropped her baton and reached for the pistol at her waist. But she found that she could not move at all when she had just got the pistol. A shining silver needle was on her chest. What are you going to do? Nalan Wuxia began to be really scared, looking nervously at the young people in front of him. Qin Haodong subdued Nalan Wuxia with a silver needle and then circled around her, thinking that the girl was really in good shape and would surely blind countless men if she changed into a bikini. Let me go at once. What on earth do you want to do, Eddie? The less Qin Haodong spoke, the more nervous Nalan Wuxia was. Miss, it's not what I want to do, it's what you want to do. Qin Haodong said sulkily, I was unfortunate to meet with a blackmailer when I was driving my own car. You didn't interrogate the blackmailer, instead, you brought me to the criminal police unit and tried to beat me without reason. Now you ask me why. Are you that kind of women who have nice breast but have no brain? Nonsense, your problem is much more serious than that of the blackmailer. Let me go or you shall not get any leniency. To hell with your leniency. Qin Haodong was so angry that he raised his hand and slapped Nalan Wuxia's well-toned butt. This car was given to me by your grandfather. I didn't steal it or rob it. Why are you bothering me? Damn it. Nalan Wuxia was furious with her eyes flaring. As a famous female Tyrannosaurus of Criminal Police Unit, she used to be the one who abused others. Who could have imagined that today she was spanked by someone? She was so ashamed and angry, but she couldn't move. You let me go. Will the truth come you if I let you go? Chin Haodong then took the needle bag from his pocket and put it on the desk beside. When the needle bag was opened, hundreds of silver needles were exposed. Seeing these silver needles, Nalan Wuxia became more nervous, regretting that she was left here alone, and regretting that she had let the policeman turn off the monitor in the room, otherwise, she would not have been so passive. She tried to shout, but she finally managed to hold back. Because this interrogation room was specially made with excellent sound insulation effect. Even if she exhausted her voice yelling, no one could hear it outside. What the hell are you doing? Nalan Wuxia got gooseflesh at the sight of the shining silver needle in Chin Haodong's hand. Officer, can't you change your question? Always asking the same question. You'll know what I'm going to do right away. Chin Haodong raised his hand and thrust several silver needles into the acupoints on Nalan Wuxia's chest. Nalan Wuxia felt scared because she thought Chin Haodong was torturing her. But then she found that the silver needles did not bring any pain to her body. On the contrary, she felt comfort in her chest. Chin Haodong then thrust more than a dozen silver needles into Nalan Wuxia's left chest, then slightly flicked his fingers and struck the tails of the silver needles, which immediately began to tremble as if it was being charged. Nalan Wuxia felt vaguely that a gust of air was moving in her body, and the comfort of her left chest became stronger and stronger. She looked at Chin Haodong in surprise. What did you do to me? Chin Haodong said, I said your grandpa Nalan Jia has been cured. You don't believe it. I can only prove it to you. Your left chest has an old strain injury. You should have been injured 2 years ago. After that, you did not get proper treatment and recuperation. As a result, the injured muscle tissue never recovered. If you exert yourself too much, you will suffer from acute pain. Now I have cured it for you. You should believe in my medical skills. Nalan Wuxia opened his mouth in surprise. It was amazing that Chin Haodong could see in a few minutes that she had an old strain injury on her left chest and could tell the exact time of the injury. Are you really a doctor? She asked, not quite convinced. Is it not self-evident? Chin Haodong said. He raised his hand and retrieved the silver needles that were on Nalan Wuxia's chest, but the silver needle that suppressed the acupoints wasn't pulled out. Who knew what this female Tyrannosaurus would do after she was released? I've healed your chest wound. Can you believe me now? I can't move. How do I know if it's okay? Nalan Wuxia stared at Chin Haodong fiercely and said, let me go now. Air. Chin Haodong hesitated a little. Although he had proved his medical skills, who knew what would this woman do? What if she reversed without warning? But he had to be let go eventually, remaining in a deadlock wouldn't do. And there would surely be other policemen coming in later. While he was in a dilemma, Nalan Wuxia's telephone on the table suddenly rang. He glanced at it. It was Nalan Wuxuang who was calling. Hello, what have you just done? Why don't you answer the phone? Chin Haodong asked with indignation, thinking that if Nalan Wuxuang had just answered the phone and explained the matter clear, he would not have had such trouble. I was taking a shower. I didn't hear you. Why are you with my sister? Nalan Wuxuang immediately recognized Chin Haodong's voice. It was weird that Chin Haodong was answering the phone when she had clearly dialed Nalan Wuxia's number. You have the nerve to ask why. You think I was willing to be here? Chin Haodong explained in brief how he met blackmailing and how he was misunderstood by Nalan Wuxia and how he was brought into the criminal police unit. Explain it for me quickly, or I'll be in big trouble. Your sister will send me to prison. Nalan Wuxuang immediately giggled at Chin Haodong's words. It's you who bragged about robbing the car. Stop laughing and make explanation quickly. Chin Haodong said, and passed the phone to Nalan Wuxia's ear. Soon, Nalan Wushuang explained the matter. After hanging up the phone, Qin Haodong said to Nalan Wuxia, "Do you believe me this time? I'll let you go, but you can't use your gun at me anymore." After those words, he pulled out the silver needle on Nalan Wuxia's chest. Just then, the door was slammed open and the little policeman rushed in from outside. "Captain, there's something urgent. The Captain Wang is looking for you." The brash and clumsy little policeman accidentally caught sight of Qin Haodong taking his right hand back from Nalan Wuxia's chest. Nalan Wuxia was standing back to him. So what happened in front of her was not clear at all. From his angle of view, Qin Haodong was standing with Nalan Wuxia in an ambiguous position, and his hand was just on her chest, which pulled back immediately when he had opened the door. "Ah!" The policeman was startled with words stuck in his throat. What the hell was this? Did the vice-captain ask himself to go out and turn off the monitor just to do this with this toy boy? Although the toy boy was very handsome, but wasn't it too hasty? After the silver needle was pulled out, Nalan Wuxia immediately retrieved her ability to move. She gave Qin Haodong a hateful look, putting the pistol back in the holster of her waist, and turned to the policeman and said, "What's the matter?" "That's what happened." The little policeman came to himself and said, "Captain Wang has been tracing a huge drug trafficking case these days. Just now came a message that 2 hours later, the drug gangs will make a transaction. Just now Captain Wang brought back a lackey of a drug trafficking gang, but this fellow wouldn't say a word about where the trading place was. He was really tight-lipped. Captain Wang wanted you to discuss with him how to extract the location of the transaction." Nalan Wuxia was the vice-captain of the criminal police unit. The Captain Wang the little policeman mentioned was the Captain Wang Jianfeng. "Okay, let's go." Nalan Wuxia was hurried to leave with the policeman. Qin Haodong said in haste, "Hey, how about giving me back my car?" Chapter 24. Mind.Bewitching. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 24. Mind.Bewitching. Nalan Wuxia turned back and said, "Why did you get this car? Didn't I explain it clearly? Your grandfather gave me that car." Qin Haodong didn't realize that things had been explained clearly. Nalan Wuxia still didn't want to return the car to him. He had planned to take the little girl for a ride in the evening. So what? Even if the car was given to you by my grandpa, it hasn't gone through the formalities yet. You were driving without qualification. Now your car is detained. Although the matter of the car had been clearly stated, Nalan Wuxia's anger had not been vented. Being spanked by Qin Haodong when her acupoint was suppressed, how could she return the car to him? "You give me back the car first, and I'll definitely go to apply for the license tomorrow," Qin Haodong said. "Get out of my way, don't you see I have a big case to deal with?" Nalan Wuxia said coldly. The slap from Qin Haodong just now was really not light, and she still felt a pain in her butt. "Is it to interrogate a suspect? Well, I'll fix the interrogation for you. How about returning the car to me?" Qin Haodong really wanted to take the car back quickly so that he could pick up the little girl in the evening. "No kidding, okay. As a doctor, do you know how to interrogate?" Nalan Wuxia said, "I tell you, now the police are standardized in handling cases, and torture is not allowed." "What?" Qin Haodong turned his eyes at Nalan Wuxia fiercely. The one who had just intended to hit him with the baton in a twinkling of an eye claimed to be standardized in handling cases. Qin Haodong said, "I'm not proficient in interrogation, but I'm a professional in medicine. I had dabbled in psychology and hypnosis. I can definitely extract what you want." Although the little policeman didn't understand the relationship between Nalan Wuxia and Qin Haodong, he could not help saying, "What do you think the interrogation is? It's not as simple as can be solved with some knowledge of psychology and hypnosis. Many of these drug traffickers are specially trained, and the general methods are of no use at all." Qin Haodong turned his head and looked directly into the eyes of the little policeman with a flash in his eyes. The policeman's eyes immediately became dull. What he used was the cultivation skill of mind. Bewitching instead of hypnosis. Although his level of cultivation was lower than before, and the power of mind. Bewitching was less than 1/10,000th of that of the peak period, still it was more than enough to deal with ordinary people. But it was inconvenient to say out this skill, it can only be said to others as hypnosis. After controlling the little policeman's mind in an instant, he asked, "What do you think of Captain Nayland?" "Hey, what are you doing?" Nayland Wuxia had no idea what Qin Haodong was going to do. How did he suddenly begin to ask his subordinates such questions? At that time, the little policeman said, "Captain Nayland is very beautiful but ill-tempered. Privately we call her female Tyrannosaurus. No one dares to provoke her." Qin Haodong smiled at Nayland Wuxia and said, "How is it? Is my hypnosis good?" "He was hypnotized by you." Nayland Wuxia was astonished. Although she knew that some people in private called her female tyrannosaur, no one dared to mention it in front of her. "Don't you believe it? Then I'll show you again." Qin Haodong said to the little policeman again, "Have you ever thought about courting Captain Nayland?" "Qin Haodong, what are you talking about?" Nayland Wuxia slightly blushed. How could Qin Haodong ask his subordinates such questions? She could not help staring at him fiercely. However, the little policeman did not care about Nayland Wuxia's attitude and said, "Never, Captain Nayland is beautiful, but still too violent. I'm afraid she'll kill me if we get married." Qin Haodong burst into laughter at the words of the little policeman. "Did you hear him? If you keep going on like this, you really won't get married in the future. You bastard." Nayland Wuxia felt that her lungs were going to explode. Qin Haodong did not take it seriously. He laughed and said, "What about it? Do you believe me now? As long as you take me, I can extract from the drug dealer what color of underwear he is wearing." Nayland Wuxia was moved. Although the man in front of him was really hateful, he was competent. The most experienced interrogation expert in the police department just couldn't do that. It would be most appropriate to take him to make interrogation. "Well, if you can help us find out the location of transaction, I'll give you the car back." Since Nayland Wuxia agreed, Qin Haodong snapped his finger, and the little policeman's eyes returned to normal. But he had no recollection of what had just happened, and was puzzled by Nayland Wuxia's fierce stare at himself. Did he just spoil Captain Nayland Wuxia's good deeds and make her angry? It must be so. It seemed that he should be careful in the future. Nayland Wuxia took Qin Haodong to the captain's office. A worried middle-aged policeman was pacing back and forth. He was Wang Jianfeng, the captain of Criminal Police Unit. Hardly had Nayland Wuxia entered the room when Wang Jianfeng said, "Captain Nayland, I remember you said you had a classmate who was an expert in interrogation. Could you please invite him over to help us as soon as possible? Today's case is very important. There's a huge drug trafficking going on in 2 hours. We have to make every effort to find out the location of transaction and act quickly." Nayland Wuxia said, "Captain Wang, no need to find an interrogation expert now, we can let Dr. Qin have a try." She introduced Qin Haodong to Wang Jianfeng. "Captain Wang, this is Dr. Qin Haodong. He has excellent medical skills." Wang Jianfeng looked at Nayland Wuxia in surprise and said, "Captain Nayland, are you kidding? We're going to have an interrogation instead of seeing a prisoner. What are you going to do with a doctor?" He was really anxious. It was getting closer and closer to the time of drug trafficking. It would be too late to wait a little longer. Nayland Wuxia said, "Captain Wang, Dr. Qin's hypnosis is very amazing. Let him have a try. Captain Nayland, the issue has been urgent now, and we have no time to waste. We must invite a training expert to come right away." Wang Jianfeng apparently did not take Qin Haodong in his eyes. Although he had heard of successful cases of hypnosis in helping interrogation, he did not think that the young man in his 20s had such ability. Qin Haodong got hold of Nalan Wuxia, who wanted to refute, and then he walked to the desk to fetch a piece of paper and a pen. He turned to Wang Jianfeng and said, "Tell me your cell phone password and bank password." Wang Jianfeng answered, "The mobile phone password is 6666, and the bank card password is 666888. Qin Haodong wrote these numbers on the A4 paper, waved his hand to relieve his mind. Bewitching, and then present the A4 paper in his hand before Wang Jianfeng. Wang Jianfeng felt dizzy for a moment. He didn't know what he had just done or what the young man meant by giving himself a piece of paper. He took a look at it and was shocked. He asked with staring eyes, "How did you know my mobile phone password and bank password? Surely you yourself told me. I'm not a god. Otherwise how I come to know it?" Qin Haodong smiled slightly. "Now Captain Wang should believe in my hypnosis, right? That's amazing." Wang Jianfeng was really shocked by Qin Haodong's capability. He never thought that someone would bewitch his mind in a flash. Even the bank card password was told out obediently. Without time to scruple now, he quickly went up and grabbed Qin Haodong's hand and said, "Dr. Qin, I'm sorry, I was wrong just now. Please give us help. This case is really very important. According to the information we have, the number of drugs traded tonight can reach hundreds of kilograms, which will do great harm to our country if so many drugs really get spread out. Don't worry, Captain Wang. Now take me there. I promise to extract all his passwords." "Thank you, Dr. Qin, really thank you." Wang Jianfeng's attitude took an about-turn, which greatly contrasted his previous indifference. After that, he and Nalan Wuxia took Qin Haodong to the adjacent interrogation room. On the iron stool sat a young yellow-haired man in his 20s. Wearing nose rings and earrings, the man had an image of a hooligan. Although handcuffed, he looked up with his face full of defiance and irony. After entering the room, Wang Jianfeng said to Yellow-Hair, "This is the last chance for you to get leniency. Will you confess or not?" Yellow-Hair glanced at Wang Jianfeng, and then looked at Nalan Wuxia standing next to him with obscene eyes. He laughed and said, "Do you try to tempt me by bringing such a beautiful policewoman? If she can go to bed with me all night, I will consider telling you. Do you want to die?" Raising her hand, Nalan Wuxia tried to slap Yellow-Hair on the face, but Wang Jianfeng quickly took hold of her. Yellow-Hair said very arrogantly, "What's wrong? Don't you dare hit me. I know you don't have any evidence at all. You're going to let me out in 24 hours. I will kill you if you really hit me." Before he could finish speaking, he was slapped massively. He became dizzy and spat out a mouthful of blood mixed with his teeth. Yellow-Hair turned his head and saw a very handsome young man smiling at him. He did not wear a uniform and did not look like a policeman. Wang Jianfeng didn't expect Qin Haodong to be so hot-tempered that he used violence without warning. He hastened to say, "Dr. Qin, don't be impulsive." Hearing that Qin Haodong was a doctor, Yellow-Hair immediately scolded. "WTF? A little doctor dared to hit me, you shall wait to be killed once I get out." Before he could finish scolding, Qin Haodong slapped massively on the other side of his face. "Boy, although I'm not a policeman, I can send you to prison. Do you believe it?" Yellow-Hair glared at Qin Haodong and was about to say something. Suddenly, a trace of numbness flashed in his eyes and swallowed up his words. "Come on, where will you traffic tonight? How many people?" Qin Haodong raised the questions Wang Jianfeng had told him in advance. Nalan Wuxia and Wang Jianfeng both looked nervously at Yellow-Hair and wondered if Qin Haodong's hypnosis would work. "We will traffic in an abandoned chemical plant in the western suburbs of Jiangnan City. There are 12 people on our side, and the other side." Yellow-Hair revealed what he knew without the slightest hesitation. Then Qin Haodong asked several questions related to the case which he answered cooperatively. Chapter 25. A show. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Chapter 25 A Show. Wang Jianfeng was overjoyed. He was surprised that the question he kept asking in the afternoon had been solved by the young man in merely 3 sentences. He said to Qin Haodong again, "Dr. Qin, now that it's less than 2 hours before they start the trade, and it will take us longer than that to find the chemical plant. Can you let this guy show us the way?" "No problem." Qin Haodong agreed without hesitation. Though mind.bewitching would do damage to the brain of the bewitched, the damage could be negligible if the bewitched one was a drug dealer. The whole criminal police unit moved fast after given the direction. 20 fully armed criminal police boarded on 2 buses, with Qin Haodong in yellow hair sitting in the front. They drove fast to the western suburbs of Jiangnan City. Under the guidance of yellow hair, it hadn't taken long before Qin Haodong and others drove out of the urban area of Jiangnan City, and reached near a remote chemical plant. It was an isolated plant with no buildings or residents around. There were almost no pedestrians or cars passing by, even it was right at noon, which made it the perfect site for drug deals. In case that they should alert other people, Wang Jianfeng ordered the 2 buses to stop beside a little forest. Then he said to Qin Haodong, "Dr. Qin. We appreciate your help, but the actions next will be risky. You have to stay inside the car, for it's safe here." After he finished, he assigned 2 young police to watch yellow hair. That made Qin Haodong the 4th people in the bus. Naylan Wuxia threw the key to the Lamborghini to Qin Haodong, and said, "Thank you. You can drive it away later. But remember to come back tomorrow so I could help you get it registered." Qin Haodong took a look at Naylan Wuxia, only to find a red light flashed in her Afrian. Other people would never find what was going on with Naylan Wuxia, but not Qin Haodong, who had the powerful spirit of Emperor Greenwood. He was so good at divination that he immediately realized the red light was a sign of extremely bad luck, or to be simplified, bloodshed. What has happened? She was just fine when she was in the criminal police station, and how could she run into a bloodshed incident so soon? Is it because of the cases they're faced with now? Qin Haodong was calculating in his mind. He bent his fingers to divine, and then he frowned. He was right, the violent girl was running into bloodshed, and it was highly possible that she would get herself killed. 1 second. Qin Haodong stopped Naylan Wuxia, who was getting off the bus, and said, "Something's wrong with the case. Most drug deals are made at night. Why they chose to do it at noon today?" Wang Jianfeng answered before Naylan Wuxia could speak, "Then you're an outsider for this now, Dr. Qin. The drug dealers were too often too foxy. They don't have a schedule, so it's no surprise they choose noon today." The head of the drug deal this time was called Sad Dog, and was one of the most notorious drug dealers. In a siege last year his 5th brother had been shot by Captain Naylan, but Sad Dog got away. The guy was murderous and foxy. He had escaped arrests many times, and it's highly possible that he was playing reverse psychology this time. Qin Haodong thought for a moment and said, "Captain Wang, can you bring me there? I want to see how you arrest drug dealers." Naylan Wuxia said, "You think this is like the TV show that you can go there and enjoy it as you like? Those are murderous drug dealers with guns in their hands. Just stay in the car as we've told you." She did have watched the magic tricks Qin Haodong played in the interrogation room, but she still didn't believe that he could handle drug dealers armed with guns, because no matter how powerful a man was, he could never be the match of a bullet. Wang Jianfeng added, "It's true, Dr. Qin. You'll be safer in the bus, just wait for us to come back." After that, he and Naylan Wuxuang took their people out of the bus, and sneaked to the chemical plant. Qin Haodong frowned while watching those people leaving. Naylan Jia had dedicated his life to Huaxia, and he was a hero of the country. Naylan Wuxia might have made some troubles for him today, but she was a nice policewoman. Qin Haodong couldn't watch her getting herself killed. Since she met Qin Haodong, that might be the indication that it was not her last day yet. He needed to help her. When that idea came to his mind, he told the 2 policemen he was going out to pee, and then he sneaked to the chemical plant. However, he didn't meet Nalan Wuxia and other people there. He hid in the dark. Shelon Wuxia and Wang Jianfeng sneaked into the chemical plant with their fellows. Soon they found many cars parked in the factory. They confirmed that this was a drug deal scene, which meant that Yellow Hair didn't lie. They sneaked into the plant. This was an isolated and shabby place. In the center of the factory was a wide patio hall. And on the second floor, there was a circle of winding corridor. In the patio, two groups of people are staring at each other. One of them was led by One Dragon, with 10 more people standing behind. Several hatchet men were holding bulging cases, and it seemed that there were plenty of things inside. On the opposite side, 5 big guys in black suits were standing. Their head was a bald one, with several bulging bags behind him. Nalan Wuxuang and Wang Jianfeng stared at each other. It looked like this was really a drug deal scene, but they couldn't find Sad Dog here. Nalan Wuxia whispered to Wang Jianfeng, "Captain Wang, One Dragon had 12 fellows, which was exactly the number Yellow Hair said, but we don't know where Sad Dog is." Wang Jianfeng frowned and said, "Just let everybody hide, we'll watch and act." After that, he made a few gestures to the people around to let them hide. All the police hid patiently. On the other side of the hall, the One-Eyed Dragon said to the bald man, "Third brother, you are here just in time." The bald man scratched his head, then he smiled and said, "Of course, I am as honest as I always am. But where is Sad Dog, why is he absent?" "He had something emergency to do, so he let me bring you all stuff." One-Eyed Dragon said while waving to one of his hatchet men behind. The guy opened a suitcase and took out a bag of white powder. Then he sent it to the bald man. The bald man picked up the bag and spooned it with his fingernails. He breathed some of it in, and then looked extremely enjoyable. He sneezed and said, "Nice stuff." One-Eyed Dragon said, "Of course it is. Sad Dog always provides the best, as long as you had brought enough money. No pay, no goods. That's my rule, and I never repudiate a debt." Then the bald man waved his hand. A hatchet man behind opened a woven bag which was filled with pink cash. Nalan Wuxia said to Wang Jianfeng, "They're trading now, shall we make the move?" Wang Jianfeng gritted his teeth and said, "Forget about it. That's too much drug in there. Just arrest them anyway. And when they're all arrested, Sad Dog would never be able to get away." After that, he sent a gesture to the police around him. See the signal, all of them rushed out, and surround the drug dealers who were trading. "Freeze! Police! Don't move, raise your hands above your head." People were shouting and yelling. Soon Wang Jianfeng's fellows had all the situation taken in control, and handcuffed all those people including One-Eyed Dragon and the bald man. When the situation was settled, Nalan Wuxia opened a woven bag. But his expression suddenly changed when she picked up a stack of cash. The first and the last note of the stack were real, but the rest are all counterfeit notes. She poured out all stacks in the bag. They were all the same, counterfeit notes. The other side, a policeman wearing glasses was examining the drugs. Soon he reported to Wang Jianfeng, "Captain Wang. Those are all flour, not drug. What's happening?" Wang Jianfeng and Nalan Wuxia looked at each other in the eyes. They all felt that something odd was going on. Nalan Wuxia stepped forward and kicked on the belly of the bald man, and then she asked sternly, "Tell us what's going on." Her kick was so vigorous that the bald man immediately squatted with his hands covered on his belly. He protested loudly, "What? Why kick me like that? We were just putting on a show. Why did you kick me that hard? And the script doesn't go like that. Why aren't you going by the script? You amateur. A show. Who are you playing with?" Nalan Wuxia stared at the bald man in surprise. "Okay, stop playing that hard. You don't have to work so hard for the 200 yuan daily wage, now just open it." I am done with it. One-eyed dragon. Other people yelled after the bald man finished, yes. We're done. Now open it for me. All them tried and struggled to stand up, only to be pressed more heavily by the policeman standing beside. What are you doing? You can't do that. I quit. One-eyed dragon yelled at Nalan Wuxia outrageously. Behave yourself. We're real police, and we need your support to our work. Wang Jianfeng shouted sternly. What wrong with you? We're all here for the 200 yuan daily wage. Stop playing like a drama queen. Now let go of me or I'll knock your teeth off. One-eyed dragon protested again. Wang Jianfeng and Nalan Wuxia already realized that something was wrong. See, the situation was getting out of control. Wang Jianfeng pulled the gun on his waist. He raised his hand and triggered it, shooting the glass of a window into pieces. See the bullet and the smoky gun mouth. One-eyed dragon and the bald man were astonished. Apparently this was not a stage property, it was a 100% real gun. Are you really the police? One-eyed dragon asked in confusion. Wang Jianfeng put away his gun and took out a certificate of officers and showed it to One-eyed dragon. Check this, I am the police of Criminal Police Unit of Jiangnan City. Someone reported that you're conducting a drug transaction. Now we're obliged to investigate. After seeing the certificate, One-eyed dragon panicked and explained immediately, Mr. Police, this is a total misunderstanding. We're all figurants here. The director told us that this is a drug deal scene. This is a total misunderstanding. We're actors paid with 200 yuan daily wage, not drug dealers. Drugs kill people. So the bald man and other arrested people started yelling. That was when Wang Jianfeng realized that this is completely wrong, and he yelled angrily, keep quiet. Speak one by one. He looked to One-eyed dragon beside him and asked, tell me, what on earth is going on? Chapter 26. Falling into the trap. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 26. Falling into the trap. One-eyed dragon panicked and said, we're all figurants working around the studio, and usually we get paid 100 yuan for a day. But yesterday a generous employer said he would pay us 200 yuan a day. We were asked to shoot a drug deal scene here, and those are the props he provided for us. Nalan Wuxia shouted, that's nonsense. There's no camera here at all, how could this be a shooting scene? I've asked that, too. That man told me they used the most advanced filming equipment, and no operator could be seen. Without much suspects, we trusted him. After all, we could only earn 100 yuan per day before, but we would be paid 200 yuan in 2 hours here. We didn't expect this. Who sent you here? Wang Jianfeng asked. It was me. The voice over their head made Wang Jianfeng and Nalan Wuxia raise their head to look. 10 more men in black appeared on the winding corridor at the second floor. They had guns in their hands pointing to Wang Jianfeng and Nalan Wuxia. Their head was the notorious drug dealer, Sad Dog. Crap, we've been trapped. Wang Jianfeng had realized what was going on, but before he reached out to his waist for his gun, several guns were fired, rubble before him blown up all over the place. It was Sad Dog that was shooting. He blew the puff at the gun mouth and yelled rampantly, behave yourself. Or I'll send you to hell. Nalan Wuxia and Wang Jianfeng paled. Though all of their people had a gun, they had no chance to pull it out under such circumstance. Wang Jianfeng panicked. This was a trap Sad Dog set up for them, a big trap set up with those figurants. He yelled sternly, what are you doing, Sad Dog? Don't you dare mess things up here. This is Huaxia Eddie et, I know this is Huaxia. I could not have better days if I do kill all these people. I can let all of you go except that woman. Sad Dog's expression changed as he spoke. His face turned scary, and his eyes were full of resentment. Then he said, she killed my 5th brother, and I had to take her head to memorize my brother before his tomb. His words changed all other people's facial expressions. It turned out Sad Dog's target today was Nalan Wuxia. No way. Other policemen surround Nalan Wuxia as Wang Jianfeng shouted. You don't believe I dare to do anything to you, do you? It's no big deal. I'll just go abroad and never come back to Huaxia, said Sad Dog with his red eyes. I'll count to 3. Either you get out of my way, or I'll shoot you into sieves. After that, he started counting down with a gun in his hand. 3, 2. Stop it. I am the one you wanted. Nalan Wuxia bypassed Wang Jianfeng, and stepped out of the crowd. She was a courageous woman, and she would never let her fellows die because of her. She would try to strike with her life if she was alone here. Now that many people would be injured or killed if she pulled out her gun and fought back, she decided to sacrifice herself. Sad Dog shouted wildly when seeing Nalan Wuxia, you be *tch. You killed the only brother I had. Now I'll blow your head to revenge. As he was going to pull the trigger, Nalan Wuxia closed her eyes unwillingly. It was her dream to be a policewoman, but today, she was going to be killed by a drug dealer. Go to hell with your revenge. Before Sad Dog triggered, he was slapped so heavily on his back head that he fell off the winding corridor on the second floor. The hard slap gave Sad Dog sparkles flying before his eyes. However, Sad Dog was not an ordinary man because he did have practiced kung fu for years. When he was going to fall on the ground, he turned back to see who sneaked out attacked him, but before he was able to figure out, a giant foot showed up before him and stamped on his face. Sad Dog was kicked 7 or 8 meters away. He picked himself up from the ground with his face covered with blood and a big footprint. Finally, he was able to see it clearly. It was a young man in his 20s, smiling and watching. You be *starred, how are you hit me? Fire. Shoot him into AF *King Civ. Sad Dog stood up and ordered his fellows on the winding corridor with grudges. Wang Jianfeng and Nalan Wuxia were shocked speechless. He didn't expect Qin Haodong would show up, and neither did they expect he could beat the hell out of Sad Dog. Nalan Wuxia immediately put her hand on her gun when Sad Dog yelled, fire. Now she had nothing else to care but to fight with these drug dealers with her life. Wang Jianfeng and other policemen also moved fast and pulled out their guns. But soon they found it in surprise that instead of shooting, those drug dealers on the winding corridor stood still like statues, like they had been frozen. Stop yelling. Qin Haodong raised his hand and slapped on Sad Dog's face. Sad Dog was slapped onto the ground. Then Qin Haodong stepped on his back, smiled to Nalan Wuxia and said, sorry, I was slowed down when dealing with those people on the wind corridor. I hope you weren't scared. Well. Nalan Wuxia and Wang Jianfeng opened their eyes in surprise. They could never even dream of what had happened just now, and they had no idea how Qin Haodong had all those people stand still on the winding corridor. Don't just stand there. Hurry to cuff him. I can't step on him forever. And those people on the upstairs, send some people there with me to help. Then he raised his tiptoes and kicked Sad Dog to Nalan Wuxia. When Nalan Wuxia was awake, she kicked heavily on Sad Dog and took out the handcuff to cuff him firmly. Sad Dog raised his chin and looked at Qin Haodong, shouting in resentment, who are you? You messed up with my business. You'll have to pay for this. The Shu Soul showed up again and before he finished yelling, which kicked heavily on his face. Wang Jianfeng took fellows to the winding corridor on the second floor. They surprisingly found that each of the drug dealers had a silver needle shoved in the back head. Qin Haodong walked in the front. Each time he pulled out a needle, the policeman cuffed the drug dealer. Soon 10 more drug dealers had been cuffed, and their guns had been taken away. They were taken to the patio. Since things had been cleared out, Wang Jianfeng asked his fellows to let go of those figurants. Then Sad Dog and his fellows were taken into the bus parked outside. When they were back to then criminal police station, Wang Jianfeng began to interrogate the drug dealers. Nalan Wuxia took Qin Hadong to the Lamborghini. Thank you for saving me. It was Nalan Wuxia's first time to have faced death so closely. The feeling still made her panic. She knew she would have already met Satan in hell if the smiling young man before him didn't help. How would you appreciate my help? By sending yourself to me. Qin Haodong smiled and said. You. Nalan Wuxia was apologizing very sincerely, but Qin Haodong had destroyed all her sincerity. Forget it, I am just kidding. How would I have the guts to marry a Tyrannosaurus like you? Don't take it seriously. Qin Haodong said as he got in the car. Before Nalan Wuxia took out on him, he started the engine and left the criminal police unit in the motor roar. B****. Watching the Lamborghini disappearing, Nalan Wuxia stamped heavily. He was the first man she had met in the past many years that she could hardly understand. Qin Haodong's phone rang when he just went out of the criminal police unit. He checked it, and it was Lin Momo. Where are you? That was Lin Momo's voice coming from the other side. I am going outside for a ride. With the girl. Even Lin Momo herself was surprised at why she asked the question. No, all by myself. Anything wrong? Qin Haodong asked. Oh, really? I have a meeting right away, so I may be late to pick up Tang Tang. Can you help me? No problem. Tang Tang is our daughter, and it's my job to pick her up. Qin Haodong said cheekily with a smile. Lin Momo was speechless at the moment. What do you mean by our daughter? Like you are the father. But given it that Tang Tang did have taken Qin Haodong as the sworn father, he might be partly right, and she couldn't come up with any reason to argue with him. After he hung up the phone, he found it was just the right time, so he drove to the direction of Golden Branch and Jade Leaf Kindergarten. Qin Haodong parked at the parking lot at the school gate. Then he walked into the kindergarten and found Tang Tang's classroom. Sir, who are you looking for? Asked a young female teacher in her 20s in the classroom. The teacher looked quite pretty. She was tall, hair to her shoulder. Her uniform really accented her body shape. Seeing such a beautiful woman working as a kindergarten teacher here, Qin Haodong was slightly surprised. He then introduced himself. Hello, I am Tang Tang's father. I am here to pick her up. Tang Tang's father. The teacher checked Qin Haodong surprisingly and said, Hello mister, I am Tang Tang's teacher Wang Jiani. We've never met before, so I have to call Tang Tang's mother to check. Then she took out her phone out of her pocket and was going to call Lin Momo. Miss Wang, that won't be necessary, because she won't answer it, Qin Haodong said. Tang Tang's mother cannot answer the phone at this moment because she's having a meeting. She sent me here to pick up Tang Tang. Qin Haodong said as he took out his phone and found his phone record. Then he showed the record to Wang Jiani. Papa. You're here to pick me up. The little girl ran cheerfully out of the classroom as she saw Qin Haodong. Then she jumped up into his arms. Seeing Tang Tang and Qin Haodong being so intimate and the phone record on his phone, Wang Jiani apologized. I'm sorry, I was asking because I've never met Tang Tang's father before. It's okay. You were just doing your job. I'm Qin Haodong, and we'll get familiar in the future. Qin Haodong liked this responsible and beautiful teacher. After greetings, he took Tang Tang out of the gate of the kindergarten. When he just got out of the gate, a group of people rushed to him, and completely surrounded him. Chapter 27. A Cuckold. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Chapter 27. A cuckold. He looked at the people around, and found the woman was Xiao Lily, the one who wetted her pants in the morning because of him. A man in his 30s was standing beside her. He looked distinguished because of the luxury suit he was in. The 10 more strong middle-aged men standing beside Xiao Lily and that man looked wicked, like they would start a fight anytime soon. The little girl had no idea what was happening, but she did have recognized Xiao Lili as Zhao Leilei's mother. So she greeted nicely, "Hi, auntie." Xiao Lili ignored the little girl and held the arm of the young man. She raised her hand and pointed it at Qin Haodong, clamoring, "Honey. He is the one bullying me in the morning, and you have to teach him a lesson for me." The little girl didn't expect that Xiao Lili would act like this. She was scared and turned back to hold Qin Haodong's neck, and said with her eyes widely open, "I am so scared, auntie is so fierce." Qin Haodong patted the little girl on her back and said, "Tang Tang. Remember what I've told you. There's nothing to be afraid of as long as Daddy's here." "Oh, I remember that. Papa's awesome. I don't need to be afraid." The little girl repeated it in her soft voice. Qin Haodong nodded with satisfaction. No one could bully Emperor Greenwood's daughter, not in this world. At the moment the young man at the opposite looked at the careless Qin Haodong, and asked in a cold voice, "Young boy, are you the one messed up with my wife?" "Your wife?" Qin Haodong moved his sight from the little girl to the young man. He checked him and Xiao Lili, and then he glanced at the short-hair man at the right side of the young man. Soon an intriguing smile emerged at his mouth corner. Xiao Lili had the scent of both the young man and the short-hair man, which meant that she had an unusual relationship with both of them. He could also see that Zhao Leilei had no blood relationship with the young man, instead, he was related to the short-hair man. Suddenly, he found a green light rising from the young man's head and into the sky. This was a man with green on his head. Translator's note. In Chinese, having green on someone's head means someone has been cheated by the spouse. See Qin Haodong's eyes running down the three. Xiao Lili felt nervous. But still she insisted that there was no way Qin Haodong could know her private affairs. "Honey, he's too arrogant. Just teach him a lesson." Qin Haodong looked at the young man with intrigue. He smiled and said, "Are you really the husband?" The young man answered proudly, "Of course I am. I am Zhao Hongmao. You messed up with my wife, and you'll pay for it." Zhao Hongmao, translator's note. Hongmao means red hat in Chinese. Qin Haodong looked surprised because the guy who had a green hat over him was named Red Hat. "What? You've heard about me?" Surely, Zhao Hongmao had no idea about what was going on in Qin Haodong's thoughts, and instead, he looked slightly proud. "No, I was thinking that that's a good name," Qin Haodong laughed and said. As slow as Zhao Hongmao was, he could tell something was wrong in Qin Haodong's smile. He turned over and said to Xiao Lili, "Honey, how do you want me to punish the guy?" Seeing Qin Haodong's handsome face, Xiao Lili's eyes flared with jealousy. Why wasn't the handsome man hers? If she couldn't get him, she would ruin him. She cried, "Honey, I want you to kick his ass, and beat the hell out of him." "As you like, honey," said Zhao Hongmao. Then looked back at the short-hair man by his side and said, "Zhang Dabiao, you've heard what she said. Teach him the lesson. Don't worry, boss. He messed up with your wife, and I'll definitely give him hell no matter who he is." Zhang Dabiao answered and looked at Qin Haodong. "Kid, don't blame me for being too cruel. Blame yourself for having the guts to mess up with my big brother's wife." The little girl looked at the wicked Zhang Dabiao and asked, "Papa, are we going to fight?" "The teacher told us that good kids don't fight each other." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "No, they're here to play with you. Aren't you a soccer fan? They will be the balls, and I'll kick them, all right." "Yes, yes. I love watching playing soccer," said the little girl, applauding cheerfully. Seeing Qin Haodong wouldn't even bother to take a look at him, Zhang Dabiao was irritated. He said, "You're playing with death." Then he smashed his fist, which was almost as big as a pan, to Qin Hao's face. He had served the special troops before, but was expelled from the army because of the mistakes he made. So he was well strengthened, and his punch was heavy enough to bring up wind. Zhao Hongmao said to Xiao Lily, "Don't worry, honey. I won't spare anyone who messed up with my wife and my daughter." Before he finished, Qin Haodong lifted his right leg and kicked on Zhang Dabiao's lower belly heavily. The kick was so hard that Zhang Dabiao bent his body and flew away like a ball, and then after a boom sound, he fell into the trash can on the roadside with his head down and feet up. "Great, great. Daddy is playing soccer." The little girl immediately cheered up. People around them were so surprised that they opened their mouth widely, especially Zhao Hongmao, because he knew it clearly what Zhang Dabiao was capable of. Usually 4 of 5 people wouldn't even be able to approach him, and that was why he was appointed as the captain of the security guards. No one expected that he would be kicked by Qin Haodong, who had a kid in his arms, like a soccer ball. Zhang Dabiao struggled out of the trash can, and took away the banana skin on his head, and said to his fellows outrageously, "Are you idiots? Move! Beat the hell out of him!" As he ordered, dozens of people rushed to Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong carried Tang Tang in his arms. He dodged and ducked, kicking from time to time. The figure of those strong men flew out one after one, and rolled on the ground at the gate of the kindergarten. "It's so funny. Papa. You're so great." The last piece of fearless in Tang Tang had gone. She watched Qin Haodong kicking those people like balls in excitement. Some of those people had seen how capable Qin Haodong was, they crawled away and hid, others were faking death on the ground. Nobody dared to mess up with him anymore. Zhang Dabiao, the captain of those people, was kicked on his butt and hung on a tree after the second time he rushed to Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong dealt with those ants easily. Then he turned to Zhao Hongmao and Xiao Lily, and asked, "How about that? Do you still want to play? You?" Zhao Hongmao was completely shocked by Qin Haodong's fighting skills, and he could barely say anything. Xiao Lily was still arrogant. She stepped forward, then pointed to Qin Haodong's nose and yelled, "Gigolo boy. You must be proud of your lousy fighting skills, but my husband is the vice president of Lin's group. You cannot afford to irritate him." Lin's group. Qin Haodong halted for a second because as much as he knew, there was only one group in Jiangnan City. Is this guy a subordinate of Lin Momo? Qin Haodong didn't speak, and Xiao Lily thought she had scared him. She clamored more arrogantly, "So now you're scared? Bend your knees and apologize to me. And the little B** starred in your arms, too." Qin Haodong had always been happy till now. His face turned cold immediately. Legend had it that dragons had forbidden scales which killed everyone touching it, and the little girl was his forbidden scale. It didn't bother him much when Xiao Lily came to mess up with him. But now since she was insulting the little girls as a B** starred, he could never allow that. "On your knees." After a yell of anger, Xiao Lily felt she was overwhelmed by a great chill. She quivered and kneeled down on the ground as her body went out of control. "A face like flour, but heart as a snake. A devious woman like you shall be punished." Qin Haodong then stretched his hand and flicked before Xiao Lily's face. Nobody could see what he had done, but later they found Xiao Lily's whole face had been changed. Her mouth and eyes were slanted, and her nose had collapsed. Now she couldn't be uglier. "So ugly, Tang Tang, don't watch it." The little girl covered her eyes with her chubby hands while she was saying that, and she stopped watching Xiao Lily. "What have you done to me?" Xiao Lily screamed to Qin Haodong because she could tell the difference in other people's eyes. Qin Haodong said coldly, "The ugly appearance really fits a devious woman like you." He destroyed Xiao Lily's beauty. Xiao Lily would have been bathing in blood if Tang Tang wasn't here. "What? What have you done to me?" Xiao Lily was completely panicked. She took the cosmetic case out of her bag and looked into it. Seeing the ugly face in the mirror, she screamed miserably. Her beautiful face was what she had been living on. She played with men. Now it had been destroyed, and everything was over. Honey. Revenge for me. Kill him for me. Kill him. Zhao Hongmao glanced at the disgusting face and couldn't help but feel chilled. He said to Qin Haodong, "What have you done to my wife? Just turn her back. Or Lin's group won't let you go. No matter how capable you are, you can't possibly fight against the whole Lin's group." Qin Haodong looked at him disdainfully, and said, "Aren't you a great talker? Are you the representative of Lin's group Dovico? Of course I am. I'll tell you what, I am the vice president of Lin's group. I am the representative." Zhao Hongmao was going to give pressure to Qin Haodong by telling him his position, and force Qin Haodong to turn Xiao Lili back. At the moment, a Bentley limousine pulled over at the gate of the kindergarten. "When did you become the representative of Lin's group?" When the door opened, Lin Momo, with her cold face, came out of the car like a queen. Zhao Hongmao didn't expect that he would run into Lin Momo here, his heart pausing for a second. Bad feelings arose inside him. "Mommy. Mommy. Hug. Hug. I missed you so much." The little girl cried and jumped into Lin Momo's arms. President Lin. Now Zhao Hongmao was totally stunned, and so were Zhang Dabiao, who had just got off the tree, and all the rest of his fellows. They all belonged to the security department of Lin's group, and Zhang Dabiao was the captain of the department. Zhao Hongmao was on good term with Zhang Dabiao. So Zhang Dabiao didn't think twice when he was asked to teach a poor boy some lessons today. He grabbed a suit and came out. But he had never even dreamed that the guy they were going after was a family of Lin Momos, the president of Lin's group. Now he wished he was dead. Lin Momo held the little girl in her arms, looking at Zhao Hongmao and Zhang Dabiao coldly. She said, "What's going on? Can you give me an explanation?" Chapter 28. Being kept by someone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 28. Being kept by someone. Well. Now Zhao Hongmao was completely stunned. He was going to steal the security guards for a while to revenge for his wife, but he didn't expect that he would run into Lin Momo. He didn't know how to explain this. Zhang Dabiao and other people's heads were even lower. They wished they could bury their heads in their hands, and what was worse, they might lose their job for this. "Mommy, I know." The little girl started speaking while others remained silent. She said, "Zhao Lile's mommy let these people hit Papa, but Papa kicked them like balls. Zhao Lile's mommy called me a B** starred, so Papa used magic to turn her so ugly." She looked back to look at Xiao Lili as she spoke. Then she covered her own eyes with her hands. She looked so adorable that all people around laughed. O.org Lin Momo was slightly surprised when she heard the little girl speaking. The ugly one before her turned to be Xiao Lili, who she had met in the morning. She now understood what was going on. The woman must be messing up with Qin Haodong, but they had no idea Qin Haodong could be, so they had been taught an expensive lesson. "I'm sorry, President Lin, I don't know they are your husband and daughter." Bowing down and an apology was the only thing Zhao Hongmao could do when the situation ended up like this. At the same time, he felt curious because Lin Momo was famous for being icy. She had never been married, so where did this husband and daughter come from? In his mind, she thought the three must be a family since the little girl called her mommy and called him daddy. It was hard for Lin Momo to explain this, and she didn't want to explain it to Zhao Hongmao. "You called my daughter a B** starred. Her icy face turned frosty. She hated it most when others called her kid a wild kid, or a B** starred. "I'm sorry, President Lin, we don't know she's your daughter." Zhao Hongmao did have backgrounds, but he had to apologize because it was his fault today. Vice President Zhao, the security department belongs to the company. They are not your private property. You cannot mobilize them as you like, or let them fight to revenge for your wife. Lin Momo said it coldly. your abuse of power this time has done great damage to the company, so now you are suspended. After that, she turned back to Jean Dabio and others, you're no longer the employees of Lin's group, now get your stuff and leave. Lin Momo looked quite stern and angry, but she was happy inside. Zhao Hongmao's father, Zhao Zhongchen, was director of Lin's group, as well as a major shareholder. Relying on his father, Zhao Hongmao had been competing with Lin Momo for power for long. He constantly made trouble for her, but today, she finally had the chance to teach the guy a lesson. At the same time, the Department of Security was in the charge of Zhao Hongmao, so Zhang Dabiao and other people were all his clique. It was a good opportunity today to wipe all of them out. That was to say, Qin Haodong happened to have helped Lin Momo to finish the thing that she had always wanted to do. Zhang Dabiao and other guards knew that what had happened could never be corrected, so they accepted it and left regretfully. Zhao Hongmao sighed and said, President Lin, I admit the mistake I made today, but please tell your husband to show some mercy. Please forgive my wife. Xiao Lili knew she had made big trouble today, and she had nothing more to lose. She begged Qin Haodong miserably, please, I know I am wrong. Please forgive me, just once. Please turn my face back. Qin Haodong snorted and ignored her. She called the daughter of Emperor Greenwood A.B***. She had been so lucky because she could have been killed for that. Seeing Qin Haodong ignoring her, Zhao Hongmao's expression changed, and he said, ruining other people's appearance is a felon. I'm going to call the police. Qin Haodong smiled and said, call it as you like, but I suggest you take your daughter to the hospital to do a DNA test. What do you mean? Qin Haodong said, you don't know what I mean. I'll tell you, for you looked really pathetic. You'll know everything once you read the DNA report. Zhao Hongmao turned back to Xiao Lili immediately. He had always been confused because his daughter didn't look like him at all. He became suspicious as soon as he heard what Qin Haodong had said. Honey, you cannot listen to what he said. Leilei's your daughter, and you don't have to do the test. UB**TCH, let's go home first. Zhao Hongmao turned around and left after that. He was taking his daughter to do the DNA test. Xiao Lili had no time to beg Qin Haodong. She hurried to catch up because she knew clearly whose daughter the girl was, and everything would be over once the tested was done. The crowd had dispersed after they left. Papa, you're amazing. I love you. The little girl gave a wet kiss to Qin Haodong's cheek. Haodong, just be careful. You destroyed that woman's appearance. You would get in trouble if you call the police. Lin Momo looked worried. It's okay. All the hospitals would identify that face as an innate one. There's no use calling the police. Qin Haodong didn't care at all. He looked at Lin Momo, grinning cheekily and said, I got a new car today, how about taking you and Tang Tang for a ride? Great. Great. I want to see Papa's new car. The little girl was cheered up immediately. Lin Momo asked, where is your new car? Qin Haodong pointed to the Lamborghini Centenario parked by the roadside, and said, there it is. At the moment, the car was surrounded by 6 or 7 car fans, who were judging and discussing the excellent performance of this car. Papa. Your car is so beautiful. I want a ride. The little girl liked the Lamborghini very much, too. Lin Momo frowned and asked Qin Haodong in cold face, is it a gift from that woman? Well. Sort of. Lin Momo interrupted when Qin Haodong was about to explain, how could you do that? You can tell me if you don't have enough money. How can you do that? What did I do? Qin Haodong understood it finally when seeing Lin Momo's angry face. It looked like the kid's mommy thought he had been kept by a woman as a gigolo. You thought I've been kept by someone. Haven't you? Who else would send you such an expensive car? Don't try to fool me. This is a Lamborghini Centenario worth more than 40 million. It looks like the Nabobus was surely willing to spend money for you. For no reason Lin Momo was so angry, and even herself didn't realize how angry she was. You misunderstood me. The car was paid as my diagnose fee, and I earned it by myself. Qin Haodong grinned and said, no one could afford to keep me, but I'll give you a 20% off if you want to. Lin Momo felt released, like a stone had been removed. The Lin's family gifted Qin Haodong a car, and of course, the other family could give him a car. Her expression eased. She rolled her eyes to Qin Haodong and said, stop showing off, no one wants to keep you. I want to keep Papa, the little girl yelled, and then she asked, Papa, what is, keep, dot. Qin Haodong hugged Tang Tang in his arms, and her hands touched Lin Momo's plump chest. Lin Momo flushed. Qin Haodong took the advantage of her unexpectedly, so felt happy inside, but outside, he looked serious and explained to the little girl, keeping means you feed someone, giving him clothes and money. Oh, so mommy is keeping me. Daddy and mommy are supposed to raise you, so that's not keeping, said Qin Haodong. He knew it would be tricky to explain it to the little girl, so he changed the subject. Tang Tang, how about I take you and mommy for a ride? Lin Momo said, it's fine. We've already wasted too much time, and it's almost time for dinner. Tang Tang must be hungry, let's go home first. She didn't go back to her own Rolls-Royce as she said that. She hugged the little girl and sitting in the company pilot of Lamborghini. Qin Haodong drove the family of 3 to the villa of Lin family. Dinner had already been served when they came home. Lin Ziyuan was waiting for them to be back. After dinner, he looked at Qin Haodong from time to time as if he had something to say to him. Qin Haodong liked this father-in-law, so he asked, President Lin, do you have anything to say to me? Well, it's hard to say. Lin Ziyuan said, and looked embarrassed. President Lin, we're family now. If you want to say something, just say it, the little girl yelled as Qin Haodong finished, yes, Grandpa, we're family, family. Then I'll say it. Lin Ziyuan looked quite embarrassed, and he finally continued, I have a good friend who happened to hear that your medical skills have cured Momo, so I am asking you for a favor. That's simple, I am the doctor, it's my duty to cure patients, let alone that he's a friend of yours. No problem. Qin Haodong agreed without much hesitation. At the same time, he was wondering why Lin Ziyuan had to beat around the bush instead of saying it straightforwardly. Well. Lin Ziyuan's face turned red, and he said, it's not a patient, and it's a dog. When he finished, Lin Momo yelled before Qin Haodong opened his mouth, Dad. What are you saying? Haodong is a doctor. Not a vet. How could he treat a dog? After that, she stared at Qin Haodong secretly. Other people with so brilliant medical skills would have been surely being irritated if they were asked to treat a dog. Qin Haodong didn't feel angry. He felt funny. No wonder Lin Ziyuan was hesitating. It turned out that he wanted Qin Haodong to treat a dog. What a strange father-in-law. The little girl yelled, Doggy. Doggy. Tang Tang likes it. Lin Ziyuan said, Dr. Qin. I'll be straightforward. I won't be asking you if it's an ordinary dog. Upon hearing that, Qin Haodong looked at him with great interest and asked, what's special in this dog? Chapter 29. Dogfighting Ring. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 29. Dogfighting Ring. Lin Ziyuan said, my old friend is called Bai Zipping. He runs a large dogfighting ring and is well known as King of Dogs in Jiangnan City. Not long ago, he bought 2 purebred snow mastiffs from Tibet, which cost him more than 30 million yuan. So expensive. Lin Momo's eyes were wide open. Although she was in charge of the billionaire assets of the Lin's group, she never thought that 2 dogs could be sold at such a high price. These are purebred snow mastiffs. The price of them is naturally expensive, and when the mother snow mastiff was bought, it was already pregnant. When she gives birth to a little baby mastiff, it will worth a lot of money. Lin Ziyuan sighed and said, Bai Ziping has planned very well, but he didn't expect the two snow mastiffs to be very sick after coming to Jiangnan. They have been ill all the time. Although two puppies were finally born 2 days ago, they are also sick and do not know how to feed themselves. Although he has invited many well-known veterinarians to treat them, it doesn't work at all. If things keep going like this, I am afraid that the adult and baby dogs will die. Yesterday, I talked about your great medical skills when drinking with him, so he wanted to ask you to treat these snow mastiffs. Speaking of this, he was a little embarrassed and added, Dr. Qin, please don't think too much of this. If it's convenient for you, please go there and have a look, and if it's not, just forget about it. The little girl shouted, arms around Qin Haodong's neck, Puppy, Papa, I want to go to see Puppy. Well, let's go to see it. Qin Haodong agreed. When he was in the cultivation world, he once had treated the beasts. He did not reject treating human beings or animals. Moreover, the little girl was now clamoring to go. Lin Ziyuan said happily, that's great. Let's go there and have a look now. I have no idea of how long the 4 dogs could hold on. Qin Haodong nodded, holding the little girl and walking behind Lin Ziyuan. Lin Momo had some things to deal with, so she did not follow them to the dogfighting ring. After leaving home, the 3 got into Lin Ziyuan's off-road vehicle and headed to the outside of the Jiangnan city. Half an hour later, the off-road vehicle went out of the city and arrived at a crossing 50 kilometers north of Jiangnan city. It was already very remote. After driving onto a small road, they encountered 2 picket posts in succession before they could get far. One of them checked their license plate and the other checked the trunk of their car. Lin Ziyuan was afraid that Qin Haodong would be displeased and quickly explained, it took Bai Ziping 5 years and 100 million of yuan to build up this dogfighting ring. Naturally, it is necessary to make some restrictions on the people who come here. If it is really going to make trouble, it won't just be a matter of money. Fortunately, those who checked them were familiar with Lin Ziyuan. After a brief check, they let them go soon. After driving for about 10 minutes, they finally arrived at the dogfighting ring. On the outside, it looked like a leisure manor house with lush vegetation and greenery. Several European villas surrounded a large dome building, around which a variety of luxury cars could be seen. After getting out of the car, the 3 walked into the dogfighting ring, and a housekeeper immediately came over to them. Mr. Lin, you are here. Lin Ziyuan was a frequent visitor of the place, and the housekeeper was very familiar with him. Where is Bai Ziping? Take me to see him. My boss is in the ring behind. The situation of the snow mastiffs is getting worse. The 2 baby puppies are dying. He has just invited a famous veterinarian from the capital to treat them. The housekeeper said while leading the way with Qin Haodong, Tang Tang, and Lin Ziyuan following him. The dome building was the dogfighting ring, behind which was large dog raising area. The kennel was built with a very unique style, and a variety of precious dog could be seen everywhere. Tang Tang was very excited after seeing these dogs, screaming, dogs. Dogs. It's fun. Papa, I want a dog pet. Qin Haodong replied, well, be good and quiet for a while. Later, I'll get you one of the most beautiful and cute dogs. Okay. I'm finally going to have a dog. The little girl's face was full of excitement. The dogfighting ring was very large that they walked for 10 minutes before coming to the front of a large kennel. If the other kennels in the front were ordinary houses, then this kennel was a luxury villa. It was not only over 100 square meters large but also a fully enclosed fiber-reinforced plastics building with excellent lighting and air conditioning in it. Although it was midsummer in Jiangnan City, the temperature inside the kennel was very low, only about 12 or 3 degrees. From the outside to the inside, the temperature changed a lot. After entering it, Lin Ziyuan could not help but get a chill. Qin Haodong had genuine qi to protect his body, while Tang Tang's physique was greatly enhanced after she ate the marrow cleansing pill, plus that the Shantian Sutra was running inside her. She got used to the condition inside. After entering the kennel, they saw that the second fence door was all made of steel bars as thick as humans' thumbs. An imposing middle-aged man stood there and talked with two people wearing white coats. Inside the fence were two big and two small snow mastiffs. The two adult mastiffs were huge and had large heads and hoofs, which were comparable to that of the lions. The other two little snow mastiffs were born not long ago. They looked like two little white fluffy snowballs and lacked of vitality. If they didn't tremble slightly when they breathed, others would think that they were dead. Although the situation of the two adult snow mastiffs was better, the mother mastiff lay on her stomach on the ground, eyes closed and spiritless. The male mastiff looked better, and from time to time, he glanced at the door with his eyes full of vigilance. The middle-aged man was Bai Zipping, the owner of the dogfighting ring. At this time, he looked gloomy. After seeing Lin Ziyuan, he just nodded at him as a greeting and did not pay any attention to Qin Haodong. He had been running his dogfighting ring for many years, which brought him with a lot of daily income. Therefore, his whole family was very rich, and the 30 million yuan he spent on the mastiffs was nothing in his eyes. It was just that these two purebred snow mastiffs were extremely rare, and he was a man who loved dogs, so he was worried to see his dogs fall ill. As for the other two people who wore white coats, one of them was a 50-year-old bald man. He was the famous veterinarian Chu Wankai and was invited there from the capital by Bai Zipping. The man that stood behind him was his apprentice Lu Haibin. Underneath Chu Wankai's white coat was an expensive suit, and on his wrist was a watch which worth hundreds of thousands yuan. He held a high-powered telescope to observe the situation of the snow mastiffs. Lu Haibin stood by his side and waited carefully, holding a fan in his hand. Although the temperature in the kennel was already very low, he still went up and fanned him from time to time with a flattering expression on his face. Qin Haodong felt funny and thought in secret. He is just a veterinarian. Why he behaved like a stylish professor? Lin Ziyuan saw that Chu Wankai was treating the dogs, so, out of politeness, he did not speak, just stood by and watched. Papa, puppies, so white. The little girl was very excited and pointed at the two baby snow mastiffs while saying, "Papa, why are the two puppies not moving? I want to play with them." "Because they are sick, and they can play with you when they are cured." Qin Haodong stood behind them and comforted Tang Tang. His voice was not high. However, at this time, Lu Haibin, who stood beside Chu Wankai with a flattering expression on his face, was not happy to hear them. He looked back and shouted, "Shut up! Can't you see that my teacher is treating the dogs?" The little girl was looking at the puppies with excitement and was startled by Lu Haibin's voice. She hurriedly turned back to hug Qin Haodong's neck. "Papa, he is so frightening," the little girl said with a little nervousness. "Don't be afraid. Haven't I told you that as long as I'm with you, you can fear nothing?" Qin Haodong glanced at Lu Haibin and said, holding the little girl's hand, "When we came here, I also told you that it was a place to raise dogs, so, it is inevitable that there will be a dog barking." "You!" Lu Haibin was so angry that his face turned red, and he wanted to fight back at once. Right then, Chu Wankai put down his telescope and turned back to say, "Don't make noises." Then he turned to Bai Zipping, "Mr. Bai, you also know that I can't be disturbed during my treating, so, please tell these people to go out." Seeing that both the master and apprentice were so pompous, Qin Haodong could not help but frown. He is just a veterinarian but requires others to leave and stay quiet. Is it really good to be so pretentious? It was until this moment that Bai Zipping finally noticed Qin Haodong and Tang Tang and knew that they were brought here by Lin Ziyuan. He and Lin Ziyuan had been friends for many years. Even if these two snow mastiffs which worth 30 million yuan were to die of illness, it could not affect their friendship. Naturally, he would not chase them out. Mr. Chu, they are my old friend and his families. It doesn't matter if they stay here and have a look. Before Chu Wankai could finish his words, Lu Haibin called out, no, it matters. My teacher is the best veterinarian in Jiangnan province. What if others secretly learn his medical skills? Chu Wankai said with pride and arrogance, Mr. Bai, if you can't satisfy my condition, then I'll stop treating them. You should know that there are many people lining up and waiting for me to treat them. Bai Zipping frowned slightly, and he did not want to talk nonsense with these two people, so, he said, I'll pay you 50,000 yuan more, and do you still have a problem? Oh. I have no problem then. I can overcome this difficulty. Chu Wankai immediately changed his personal style and agreed to it. Then, please take your time to treat my dogs, Dr. Chu. Bai Zipping said faintly. As a businessman, he had been acquainted with many people like Chu Wankai and Lu Haibin, who thought nothing but profits, so, he was not that surprised to see them change their attitude. Moreover, Chu Wankai was indeed a famous person in the veterinary industry. It was said that many people's pets were cured by him. Chu Wankai spoke again. I've already figured out that these two snow mastiffs got too much heat inside their bodies, so they get sick. We must know that Tibet belongs to the Alpine region, it is very cold there. However, it is very hot in Jiangnan. Human would get climate sickness sometimes, let alone dogs. Can you cure them? Bai Zipping asked. During these days, he had invited many veterinarians there, and basically, they all said that the mastiffs had gotten a climate sickness due to the hot weather, but none of them knew how to cure them. Chu Wankai said proudly, of course I can cure them, I am the best veterinarian in Jiangnan. The two adult snow mastiffs will be fine after taking my medicine, but the two newly born puppies are too weak to take medicine that we can only give them up. Hearing that the two adult snow mastiffs could be rescued, Bai Zipping was slightly relieved. There would be other baby puppies if only he could keep the adult mastiffs alive. Then, please help them, Mr. Chu. Chu Wankai turned back to take 2 injections from Lu Haibin and handed them to Bai Zipping while saying, let your dog trainers inject these potions into the mastiffs, and it will soon be effective. Bai Zipping frowned. I'm afraid that it's not easy. Since the mother mastiff gave birth to the 2 baby puppies, the male mastiff has become very violent and aggressive. Even the dog trainers did not dare to go in. It would be very difficult to get them an injection. Chapter 30. A scene that burns their eyes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 30. A scene that burns their eyes. It's easy because I have a tranquilizer gun with me. As a professional veterinarian, Chu Wankai was well prepared. He took out a tranquilizer gun from Lu Haibin's toolbox in his hand. After loading the medicine into it, he was ready to shoot at the 2 adult snow mastiffs in the cage. Papa, why do they want to shoot the dogs? The little girl shouted nervously. Qin Haodong said, because they are good. For nothing and can't cure the dog's disease, so, they want to kill them. Boy, what are you talking about? Chu Wankai put down the gun in his hand and took a vicious look at Qin Haodong. Then he said to Bai Zipping, Mr. Bai, you also saw that anyone could talk nonsense here, so, I'll give up the treatment. Bai Zipping looked at Lin Ziyuan. He didn't know who Qin Haodong was, but he felt that it was too much for Qin Haodong to say that. Lin Ziyuan then said, Old Bai, this is Qin Haodong, Dr. Qin, who I've told you before. Bai Zipping had thought that the doctor who cured Lin Momo should be an aged man and didn't expect it to be the young man in front of him, which made him slightly surprised. However, he still went to him and said in a warm tone, Nice to meet you, Dr. Qin. Qin Haodong nodded slightly and said, Mr. Bai, if you continue to let these 2 idiots torture your dogs like that, they will definitely kill them. Asshole, who are the idiots you talked about? My teacher is a famous veterinarian. But who are you? Are you qualified to say that my teacher is torturing them? Chu Wankai and Lu Haibin screamed out like the cats whose tails had been stepped on. Qin Haodong did not even look at them and said to Bai Zipping, "These two snow mastiffs are too weak now. If they are injected with some anesthetic, the male mastiff may be able to survive, but the mother mastiff will lose its life because of it." This. On hearing Qin Haodong's words, Bai Zipping suddenly became nervous. "Who are you? Why haven't I heard of you as a veterinarian in Jiangnan before?" Chu Wankai asked coldly. "It's natural that you never heard of me before because I am a doctor, not a veterinarian." "A doctor?" Chu Wankai suddenly became annoyed and cried. "Doctors and veterinarians are completely two different occupations. You're being too pretentious in front of me. Even if you are a famous doctor, you don't know how to treat a dog." Qin Haodong said disdainfully, "Don't consider others from the perspective that you, a good.4. man, hold. There are many interoperable things either to treat a human being or a dog. It's just that you don't understand it." After knowing that this young man was not a veterinarian, Chu Wankai was immediately emboldened and shouted to Bai Zipping, "Mr. Bai, I'll quit treating your dogs." Qin Haodong knew it very clearly that this old guy just wanted to threaten Bai Zipping, so, he said with a sneer, "That would be better, otherwise, these snow mastiffs will be killed by you." Lu Haibin supported his teacher with saying, "Don't talk nonsense. My teacher is the best veterinarian in Jiangnan province." Qin Haodong disdainfully smiled and said to Bai Zipping, "Mr. Bai, these two snow mastiffs got sick because of cold, not heat inside their bodies. If you let these two idiots inject some medicine into the mastiffs to clear the heat inside them, the mastiffs will all be killed." "Joke. What a big joke." Chu Wankai shouted. "Kid, you know nothing. Mastiffs live in Tibet, an alpine region. They can survive at 60 to 70 degrees below zero. How can it be that they get sick because of cold? You should have some common knowledge before you talk nonsense, okay?" Bai Zipping also frowned slightly. It was a common knowledge known by many ordinary people that Tibetan mastiffs get used to cold and fear hot. Because of this, he specially built this kennel and wanted to help the Tibetan mastiffs go through this summer with air conditioning. Qin Haodong said, "It's true that Tibetan mastiffs live in alpine regions and don't fear cold, but the cold air that the air conditioners produced are synthetic and goes against the nature. This kind of cold air will make human get air-conditioned diseases, let alone the Tibetan mastiffs that are close to nature." He then turned his head to look at Bai Zipping and said, "Mr. Bai, try to think about it. After these two snow mastiffs entered this air-conditioned room, have their condition gotten worse day by day? Moreover, the veterinarians you has invited to treat the disease of the dogs all used the medicine to clear the heat inside them. Does it work? If I didn't make a mistake, I am afraid that the mastiffs became weaker every time they took their medicine, otherwise, they would not have become so sick." Bai Zipping's look changed. As Qin Haodong had said, although the two snow mastiffs were not adapted to the condition when they just arrived in Jiangnan city, they were still healthy. Since they entered this air-conditioned room, they had become weaker and weaker. He then also had found some veterinarians to treat them, but the treatment had only made their illness more serious. All these people had thought that the mastiffs were suffering from heat and used some medicines to clear the heat inside them. Now, it seemed that those treatments only worsened the mastiff's illness. No wonder the mother mastiff was dying now. It's really funny for you, a doctor who used to treat human, to come here to treat a dog and say that I diagnosed wrong. Chu Wankai then said to Bai Zipping again, "Every body has his own specialization, so, please don't listen to a doctor's nonsense. I'm a professional veterinarian. These two snow mastiffs got sick because of the heat of the summer. The reason why the previous veterinarians didn't cure them is that those people's skills are not good enough and they didn't choose the right medicine. As long as I inject these drugs into the mastiffs, it will definitely work immediately." Qin Haodong no longer spoke. He had said what he wanted to. How to make choices was left to Bai Zipping. If he chose to believe Chu Wankai, that was the snow mastiff's fate. Old Bai, listen to me. Dr. Chen's medical skills are very excellent. It's right to believe him. Lin Ziyuan was extremely convinced by Qin Haodong and had become a big fan of him. Papa is great. He will definitely cure the dogs. The little girl said in a childish voice. Bai Zipping hesitated for a moment, but quickly, he made a decision. He chose to believe in Qin Haodong. Because the prescriptions that the veterinarians had prescribed before were indeed used to clear the heat inside the mastiffs and almost killed them. They did not have any effect at all. Dr. Qin, please help these two snow mastiffs. Seeing that Bai Zipping did not believe in him, Chu Wankai changed his expression and said, Mr. Bai, if you don't need me to treat them now, you'll have to pay me 10 times more money if you ask me to treat them later. In his view, Qin Haodong, a doctor who treated human, could not cure these two snow mastiffs, so, later, Bai Zipping would definitely ask him to continue the treatment. Therefore, he did not leave right away but stood there, waiting to see Qin Haodong lose face with cold eyes and waiting for Bai Zipping to beg him. Qin Haodong said, Mr. Bai, I can cure these two snow mastiffs, but let's talk about the medical fee first. I don't want you to give me money, I want you to give me these two baby mastiffs. If you agree, I'll start to treat them right now. He had already found that the bloodline of Bai Zipping's snow mastiffs was very pure, plus that Tang Tang loved puppies, so, it would be great if he could take these two puppies home. Of course, I agree. Bai Zipping immediately agreed. Since that Chu Wankai had already sentenced the two puppies to death and that he also thought the puppies unable to be saved, he did not mind to give such two puppies to Qin Haodong as the medical fee. Great, I'll start to treat the snow mastiffs right now. Qin Haodong gave Tang Tang to Lin Ziyuan's arms as he spoke and then took out a needle bag from his pocket. Bai Zipping asked with amazement, Dr. Qin, what are you going to do? I'll acupuncture them. I am a traditional Chinese doctor, so, I have to treat the through acupuncture. Ha! 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 I'm going to laugh my head off. It's the first time that I have heard someone want to acupuncture a dog. Funny, it's so funny. After Qin Haodong finished his words, Chu Wankai and his disciple were convulsed with laughter, and their eyes were full of disdain. Dr. Qin, will it work? Bai Zipping asked without confidence. Of course, it will work. 10 minutes later, you will get two healthy and active snow mastiffs. Qin Haodong said confidently. In his eyes, there was not much difference between treating humans and dogs, and the silver needles were used to deceive others. What would really work was the Greenwood genuine qi. Kid, haven't you just said that it's not suitable to use a tranquilizer gun? Now, I want to see how you will deal with it, Lu Haibin said with a sneer. Without a tranquilizer gun, I'll see how you can acupuncture the snow mastiffs. Chu Wansai's expression showed that he was ready to take pleasure in Qin Haodong's misfortune. He watched aside, arms around his chest. Everyone knew that mastiffs were ferocious. Their powerful bite force allowed them to chew the stick as fried dough twists. They were as ferocious as lions and tigers. Although the two snow mastiffs were sick now, ordinary people should not approach them. Especially the male mastiff, his illness was more serious. His eyes were bloody red and could scare people away. Even the dog trainers there did not dare to approach him. Qin Haodong didn't even look at Chu Wankai and Lu Haibin and just walked toward the iron gate. Bai Zipping took his hand and asked, Dr. Qin, is it really okay to go in now? The snow mastiffs are very ferocious, and now, they became even more ferocious after they had babies. Qin Haodong smiled slightly. Don't worry, they won't bite me. You're kidding. Why they won't bite you? Because you look handsome. They will bite you to death. If they don't bite you even after you stab them with needles, I'll call you daddy then. Chu Wankai wore a sneering and gloating expression. He had been a veterinarian for so many years, and he had never heard that Tibetan mastiffs would not bite others except for their masters. There were even some very fierce Tibetan Mastiffs whose masters dared not to approach them. Chin Haodong looked back at him and smiled. Remember what you has said. Don't break your words later. Break my words. Let's talk about it later after you come out of the cage alive. Chu Wankai said indifferently, although Chin Haodong was full of confidence, Bai Zipping was still somewhat uneasy. He hurriedly called 2 dog trainers to be on the guard aside. Once the Tibetan Mastiffs went crazy, they could immediately save Chin Haodong. Chin Haodong did not care about these things, just opened the iron gate and went inside. Seeing that he really went into the kennel of the Tibetan Mastiffs without any precautions, everyone was nervous. The 2 dog trainers clasped the wooden sticks in their hands. They didn't understand what the young man wanted to do. Wasn't him courting death? There was no such way to gain stimulation. The little girl shouted in Lin Ziyuan's arms. Papa, be careful. Dogs bite. Feeling someone come in, the mother mastiff opened her eyes, revealing a pair of blood-red eyeballs. As for the male mastiff, he looked at Chin Haodong with his eyes wide open and walked to him step by step. The male mastiff's hoof claws were so huge that the people outside the cage became increasingly nervous with each step he took forward. Bai Zipping could not help but yell out. Dr. Chin, come out quickly. It's too dangerous inside. He said he was a doctor, but I thought him a psycho. Both Chu Wankai and Lu Haibin laughed out. They all waited to see the scene of the Tibetan Mastiff biting a human. When everyone was worried, an unexpected scene happened. The huge male Mastiff came to Chin Haodong. He firstly shook his tail, then squatted in front of Chin Haodong, and pressed his big head onto the ground. His thick tongue kept licking Chin Haodong's shoes with a respectful and flattering expression like the dog who had not seen his master for many years. However, it was so inharmonious to see a Tibetan Mastiff, who had been well known for its fierceness, to make those pleasing actions. It burned the onlookers' eyes.